there, it's Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com here with a flashback draft with Mirage. It's been a while since I've updated anything on the channel, been very busy with personal life. Actually, for those who don't know, that I accepted a position as a swim coach, and it's been eating up a lot of my time. So anyway, we're just going to do a Mirage Visions and Weatherlight flashback draft for the holidays. These are fun to do. Not every day you get to play a old school. I played during Mirage, so this is going to bring back a lot of nostalgia. So my rares destroy artifacts that can't be regenerated. The control of each artifact gains life equal to converted mana cost. Something I don't want in the block. There's not a lot of artifacts to actually destroy. So then we have the Afterlife. Destroys your creature. It can't be regenerated. Control gets 1/1 white spirit creature. That's actually pretty good. You can actually go you'd have to get I'm going to go with the Dark Ritual here. I'm just going to go ahead and take it. We want to ramp into something. I think that's a good card to pick. First pick. So let's see here. We have a Tombstone Stairwell. Look at this text. So beginning of your upkeep, Stairwell on the battlefield. Each player puts a 2/2 zombie creature stroke with haste named Tombspawn. At the beginning of each end step, when Tombstone Stairwell leaves the battlefield, destroy all tokens on the battlefield with the Stairwell. Ugh. So beginning of each upkeep, each player, I don't know if I like that. Soul Trick's pretty good. Target creature you control gets possessed 0x is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. You can actually go kind of a little bit of a graveyard strategy. We have a Ward of Lights. This one's actually really good because you can choose a color and it gives protection from a color. I think this is the more powerful. Counters a creature spell for 2. That's actually not bad either in the format. And minion deals 2 damage to target white creature. Unfortunately, I don't know if we'll go up against enough white. Here's a 3/2 for just 3 mana. I just might take that, or we just might go the Tower of Minotaurs with the 3/3 haste. And I think that's going to be the route. I did pass one, though, so I am going to pick it, though. I'm running out of time here, so I'm just going to go with a haster. Again, I have to read a lot of these cards because it's been forever since I played it. Now, here's this kind of land destruction. Destroying on swamp land, if it's an on-base, it deals 2 damage, but for 3 mana, destroying a land is not bad. Another Prismatic Circle, which is a circle protection with a community of upkeep. Lightning Reflexes gives +1/+0 on first strike to a creature with very little bit of removal. Might be pretty good. Let's see. Destroy creature is white. Again, a lot of anti-white cards. Floodplain can go get a plains or an island. Probably not what I want to do. We have a Flying Vigilance guy. We have a draw card if we pay. Oh, if I pay 2, that's actually not too shabby of a card. 3 mana for a 2/2. See what this little rare is. Whenever target creature deals combat damage to a non-wall creature, destroy that wall creature. When the target creature leaves the battlefield this turn, sacrifice Acidic Dagger. That is a lot of mana for removal. Holy, that's insane. We could go like a ramp strategy with Crash of Rhinos and 8/4 Trampler. Is probably hard to deal. I'm going to take Lightning Reflexes, though, and stick with this black red strategy. Now, a 2/1 for 2 mana is not bad at all. If it's going to be targeted by a spell effect, it's probably going to die. We also have a Spitting Earth, which is removal, and not that bad. We have a Shroud guy with flanking. We have Benevolent Unicorn. When a spell deals damage to a creature player, it deals 1 to that creature, so affects the opponent as well. Can give something 1/1 flanking. This hoses blue decks. Let's see what this one does. Can make creatures bigger, destroy all artists. I think it's going to be Skulking Ghost or Spitting Earth. I think I'm going to go with the Spitting Earth. We could go with Rampant Growth and then go for a ramp type strategy, but probably not the best. I think just Spitting Earth will go with removal and go. We've got a lot of red cards, and they seem to be passing us red cards. Tap to our creature, that creature's controller, that creature deals damage equal to the power of that player. So you can tap down a potential attacker and actually make it deal damage to an opponent. That's not too bad. A Ravenous Vampire, though, being your upkeep, you may sacrifice on it. If you do, put a +1 counter. If not, tap it. Ugh. Jeez, a lot of these cards are just really bad. Flying Phasing for 3 mana is actually looking really good here. See, all creatures lose trample. If a creature would deal combat damage to a creature this turn, it deals double that damage to that creature instead. Not bad. Target opponent loses 1 life, you gain 1 life, exile, and gain fear. Again, that's not the best. Can give stuff unblockable. Ritual of Steel. I'm just going to take the Drake, I think. Or just a Delirium might be good if we can get any more burn. I'm going to take Delirium. Can tap down something and actually deal damage to an opponent. 1/1 Regenerator is actually looking pretty good. Destroying anything that this blocks with Wild Corpses looks not bad. This is just, look at these cards. They're just, regeneration actually seems like a bomb. And Urborg Panther, you sacrifice Pharaoh Shadow, Breath Stealer, and Urborg, and you can go get Spirit of the Night. So it's not going to work in a... Yeah, I'm thinking just taking a 4-2 for 4 mana is probably the right play with what I'm going here. Either, yeah, I'm going to be the aggressive deck. I'm going to go ahead and take just the Viashino Warrior. Now, Forsaken Waste, players can't gain life. If each player's upkeep, that player loses 1 life whenever Forsaken Waste becomes a target. So every turn, each player loses 1 life. This is fixing with the Mana Prism. This, I could continue to have 3/2s. I don't know if that's the best. If a creature you control attacks, this guy attacks if able as well. 3/4 for 4 mana, I think is going to be the best card in here as well. It's just a lot of weird cards. Hard to really get a theme going here. I'm going to go ahead and take the Cyclops. A 3/4 for 4 mana, it might be actually pretty decent in this format. Flip a coin. If you win with a coin, creatures get +1/+1. If you lose it, they don't get anything. Probably not that great to play. This destroys artifacts. Breath Stealer, again, it can become a 3/1. And if I enchant it, it can become bigger. Energy Vortex. Deals 3 damage to player unless he plays 1 for each Vortex. Put an energy. That's not horrible. Stalking Tiger is actually probably the best card. I'm just go ahead and take it. Stalking Tiger can only be blocked by 1 creature, and so they can't group block with a bunch of smaller creatures. I guess it's just, this is the pack that I started with, or not quite. It might be. I'm thinking it's just going to be the Tower Minotaur. And Jolt taps something and draws a card. Target artifact champion on top of it, disempower. Deals more damage. Oh, this is weird. Do I just take a Stone Rain and put it to the sideboard? I think I will. Choking Sand. See, now I've got this kind of land destruction theme that I could go. A 6/5 phasing actually looks pretty good, though Floodplain's not terrible, but we're not going to go plains or islands. I'm going to take this Choking Sand, just put it in the sideboard, and maybe we go some sort of land destruction route. So, I guess Blind Fury's better than nothing. Fire Breathing's better than nothing. And just a lot of weird cards here. I think just taking creatures is the route to go. I didn't see a lot of removal, so I guess we need to bump up the Spitting Earth. Well, then we're going to go into Visions now, so... Good news, well, bad news is Dark Ritual's really not doing anything here. So here's my rare. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player exils a card at random from his hand. The player may play that card this turn. At the beginning of the next end step, if the player hasn't played the card, puts it in his graveyard. Just a really weak, weird situational card. Random. It makes you cast all your cards. I don't think that that's the right way to go. We have a 2/2 flanker for 1 and a haste flanker. So it's probably between these two. Let's see a Dragon Mask. Target creature gets +2/+2. Return it to the owner's hand at the beginning of next step. And you control, so I can't do it to my opponents. Trample, put a 2/2 counter. Sacrifice Lead Belly Chimera, put a +2 counter on target Chimera creature against trample. So we'd have to have more Chimeras. Sacrifice a creature, target creature gets +4/+2. Yeah, I mean, it looks between... I mean, Knight of Valor is actually pretty good, but I don't know if I want to switch over here. I'll just take this Fallen Ascari, and we'll, again, try to go more of an aggressive route. Here's a 3/1 flyer for 4 mana, which might not be too bad. And see with my rare, if it dies, exile it. If it had a death counter on it, otherwise return it to the battlefield under your control with a death counter. That's a lot of mana, but it's probably not too hard for me to cast in a 2-color deck, and it is on color. Here's ramp though with this Everglades. Everglades into the battlefield, sacrifice and return untapped swamp, and then you can add 2, and it enters the build tapped. So it seems like there is like this Chimera strategy going on too. Another Knight of Valor. So it's between the 3/1 probably, and I'm going to go ahead and take the Bogart and Phoenix. I think I will be into heavy red. Now here's something I can protect. I can put a +1/+1 on a creature and then sack a creature, regenerate it. Sisei's Ring is more ramp. I kind of wish I would have gone ramp. Carrion Ranger is actually worth, I think, a pretty penny on MTGO. I'm not quite sure. I think these are worth a ticket or two. Target opponent discards a card at random, a 2/2, for 3 mana. And when we have becomes blocked, deals 2 damage to each attacking creature and each blocking creature. That is really weird. For a 1/1, I just might want a 1-drop to get out and do some damage. So I don't really think that anything really helps my deck out. I'm just going to be the greedy player here and take a card that actually is worth something. So Python at 3/2 is not seeming too bad for 3 mana. Bull Elephant enters the battlefield, sacrifice list, return 2 force control their hand. That's pretty bad. You gain 1 life whenever you play a card sacrifice. That's terrible. Well, we can keep going our players have no maximum hands at the beginning of each player's draw step. Player draws an additional card, then discards a card. Kind of cool card, especially in the Mind Seize decks for Commander. But as far as this deck, I think it's going to be Army Ants, and maybe we will go this kind of land destruction route and maybe just hose them that way. I'm going to put it to the sideboard, and if we get any more land destruction, maybe we will. Fear. Whenever it attacks, it blocks defender player, gets a poison counter. Well, probably not enough to really do infect in this type of format. A 3/2 for 2. Heat Wave. Blue creatures can't block creatures you control. Non-blue creatures can't block creatures you control unless they're pays 1 life for each blocking creature. I don't like the cumulative upkeep. I think we just what does this do? At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player sacrifices a creature that player doesn't, he or she loses 5 life, and you sack Pillar of Tombs. It's just really hard to get to work, especially since I have to sack. And this could end up doing damage to me. I think I just take the Python. And Tar Pit Whirler is actually not bad. There's a Coercion that seems pretty good, actually, in this format, as I can get rid of their best card. But Tar Pit Whirler 3/4 for 3 mana, which I don't know how many. It did seem like there was a lot of enchantments that are kind of. Yeah, enchant creature. You can give something Shroud. Like, you could kill Tar Pit Whirler, but it's still a card for a card. We have a City of Solitude. Players can't cast spells and activate abilities only in their turns, so. Not that good in especially draft, but really not. Yeah, this is kind of like an anti-counter spell type deck. So I think I'm just going to take the Tar Pit Warrior. I think the more creatures, the merrier in this deck. And I can actually get a land with Coercion, though. So I can think of this as kind of land destruction. With Coercion. See, this card, Mundungu, actually seems like a pretty decently powerful card. Counterspell unless pay 1 and 1 life. Not too shabby. It just takes them off their curve. But I'm going to take the Coercion and probably play it. I can get rid of a removal. Funeral Charmer is actually a powerful card. You get +2/+1, makes a player discard a card, or get Swamp Walk. I think that it can kill an early card. There's also Phyrexian Walker, a 0 mana for a 0/3. But, of course, we're playing the aggressive route. Here's a flying 2/2 for 4. It's definitely between these two. I think I'll take the Funeral Charm. I like this card a lot. I've used it in a discard deck. And, again, if you can get him to, we could go the land destruction route. Again, I don't know what's in Weatherlight. So the Elkin comes back. I don't want it. This Trample 2/2, don't really want it. I'll probably just take this Flash 3/2. I'm surprised it's still in here. King Cheetah actually seems pretty good. And, yep, I'm just going to hate this out. So I can make them not play land cards, and hate out this 6/3 as well. And if I have to, like, splash into green, this is actually looking pretty decent. Everglades I might just play for ramp. I'm actually going to take the Everglades. I think it's worth playing. +0/+3 and reach for 1 mana. You can play as an instant. Reveal the first card you draw each turn. Whenever you reveal a basic land card, draw an extra card. That's actually not too shabby. I think it's better than these other Other cards, just put it in the sideboard. And none of these are very good. I don't like Song and Blood. It's maximum of only +4/+0 to all creatures. But we'll put it to the sideboard. Maybe I will go a heavy creature deck. And let's see. This one destroys a non-R enchantment, untaps a permanent, loses flying. Mills. We'll take a mill just in case someone decides to go. But here's another Song and Blood. Again, we might be able to go a Song and Blood type strategy. Holy cow, there's 3 of them. So if we were to get enough creatures or anything that actually worked off the graveyard, then Song and Blood wouldn't be bad at all. But okay, so we get a huge plus here. Thundermare is actually a very powerful creature. Back in the day, this was this card was actually worth money. In Standard, it was a very good card. It taps down all creatures, and then you have a haste 5/5. So nothing else really in this deck. This is whenever it deals damage to a player, that player discards a card. This is actually a pretty powerful card. Ordric Wraith as well, and here's a 3/1 that can regenerate. This has synergy with Song and Blood, so we have some stuff that if it comes back to us will be pretty good. So Zombie Scavenger will be nice to come back, and as well as the Bloodrock Cyclops will be nice to come back, or even this Odlick Wraith. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Thundermare, and of course that's like a huge plus because we need a really good justification. We have a nice little haste deck going, but no damage whatsoever. So here I can put this on, and I can sacrifice a creature and give something +2/+0, or I can sacrifice it and give everything +2/+0, but I just don't think it's worth even considering. It being your upkeep, sacrifice unless you exile the top creature card of your graveyard. Now this actually doesn't work too shabby with Song of Blood. We'd want creatures in our graveyard earlier, though, for this Barogu. A 4/4 for 2 mana. And we'd have to sacrifice unless you exile the top creature card. This can make people sacrifice creatures. Let's see. Battlefield with the 4 shell counters. Being your upkeep, remove a shell counter. As long as it has no shell counter, it gets +3. I actually like this Rock Hatchling a lot. We also have this. A blocks or becomes blocked, deals 1 damage to that creature. Vitalize. Patrol by Fire, Straw Golem. Opponent crafts a creature spell, I have to sacrifice it. That'll die quickly. Mind Stone's not bad. I'm going to go ahead and take the Rock Hatchling. We need some early drops. So here's an Odric Wraith. Here's a Fledgling Dizim at 2/2 for 2. Actually, this is something that we need in our deck. We need some more aggression. Bogart and Firefiend, though, is pretty decent. It's a 2/1. Whenever it dies, it deals 2 damage to our creature. Not bad at all. And Lava Storm deals 2 damage to each attacking creature or each blocking creature. It's 5 mana, though. So I'm thinking the Fledgling Dizim is just a little bit more powerful than Bogart and Firefeed. I haven't seen a lot of removal unless we're just not getting it. And we do need some early aggression. Here's another one. You may discard Circling Vultures anytime. You may discard Circling Vultures anytime you could cast an instant. So you can discard this card to your graveyard with Circling Vultures, and it says, oh, so Song of Blood only works for itself, though, so it has no synergy. I was hoping that it had synergy with the Song and Blood. Here's some more land destruction with this Hurloon Shaman. Soothe Mirax have killed. Power and toughness equal to the number of untapped artifact creatures and lands you control. It's not going to be very big. Let's see. Exile X cards from your graveyard. It deals X damage to target player. This has huge synergy with Song and Blood. But I still think I'm just going to go the creature route and just take this Bloodrock Cyclops. A 3/3 for 3 mana that has to attack. Not bad. Sorcery Speed. Target creature gets +3/+3 in first strike. I hate Sorcery Speed. Zombie Scavengers might be a decent little card. A Fledgling Jizin, though, we do want that. Bosium Strip. If the top card is an instant sorcery, you may cast it. How many instant sorceries do I have? It's not very many. I think I'm just gonna go the strategy of just, zombie Scavengers is fine, or the Fledgling Djinn. I'm just gonna go with the Djinn and just go for like a red aggro deck. And again, now we get another Rock Hatchling that seems good. It takes a while for this to become a 3/2 flyer, but eventually it's going to get in there for that 3 mana, hopefully. Wow, green actually has some really good stuff. A 4/4 for 3 mana if you sacrifice a land. Again, we could have gone for this whole land destruction. I think Rock Hatchling's just the pick. Now we've got a nice little curve here with Rock Hatchlings into Fledgling Djinns or Fallen Ascaris. Still not liking that we only have one Splitting Earth or one removal. Delirium's not bad. It can actually tap down a creature during their turn, and then as well it makes it so it can't block. There's another Bloodrock Cyclops. I actually think it's a little more powerful than the Razortooth Rats. Since we aren't just trying to get in for evasive damage, we are really trying to just pound through our opponent. I'm thinking Bloodrock Cyclops for 3 mana, making it attack each turn isn't even that bad. There's a Guided Strike. We all know that card from... Oh, actually, this isn't quite the Defiant Strikes we have in Standard right now. I think that Bloodrock Cyclops is definitely the way to go. Dingus Staff. Whenever a creature dies, Dingus Staff does 2 damage to that creature's controller. That affects each player. Here's another Fit of Rage, a Goblin Vandal. Tender Despair. Target opponent discards 2 cards. Attack a creature. That's not bad with like Rock Hatchlings. It's 2 cards for 2 cards. It's more situational. We'll put it in the sideboard. If we had something that actually wanted to die. So this gives something +1, +1, -1. And destroy on all creatures blocking enchanted creature. So not terribly bad. I mean, you put it on Bloodrock Cyclops or something else. It's not bad. Boiling Blood makes them attack. And again, with it can make their blockers attacked. I think this is probably the better card, situational card. And again, all of these are pretty bad. Borrow Goal, I guess we'll just put in the sideboard. There's another one. Flanking. I think I might just take another. I'm going to take this Blossoming Wreath just to hate out any sort of life link. Don't want any green decks to actually bring that in. But we have a pretty solid deck as far as, well, not really any removal is the problem. But we do have some decent rares that I think are pretty much bombs in this format. We have some value creatures. We have a nice little curve. And so far so good. Haunting Misery actually has a lot of synergy with the... Wow, Cinderwall is actually not bad. Haunting Misery actually has a lot of synergy with Song of Blood by putting a ton of creature cards. Oops! I don't know what I took there. Ran out of time, but it doesn't really matter. We'll take out the Harvest Worm. Harvest Worm's actually pretty good. And Hulun Shaman's actually not bad either. It's a 2/3 for 3 mana. Again, I could go that land destruction route. But I think we have a pretty decent deck here. And it did take this Haunting Misery. So if we wanted to go this Song of Blood, and Song of Blood gives it to all creatures, put the top whenever creature attacks a turn +1/+0. This doesn't seem too shabby to go this little Haunting Misery Song of Blood route. With as many creatures as we have, we do a couple of these. Haunting Misery could easily hit for like 7-8 damage. Synergize that with Tendrils of Despair. Yeah, it's not bad, but I think we'll keep the Rock Hatchlings in here. Rock Hatchlings are nice. Right now we're looking at adding 18 lands to hit the 40, so we actually have to add stuff to our deck here. And I'm wondering if it's going to be the Song of Blood route, or the Tendrils of Despair, or the land destruction with the Army Ants. Army Ants seems like it can help me with my own flood and like cut them out of a color. Again, if I go up against a greedy 3-color deck, I might end up just going into a land destruction type route. But Boiling Blood... Boiling Blood makes them attack. I could kill something and mess up their blockers. I think Boiling Blood is nice little removal against something that's maybe an annoying creature. So I need one more card to come in, and I'm thinking that it might just be Tendrils of Despair. Get those last cards out of their hand, or maybe even just a borrow ghoul. Yeah, I'm just going to add the Tendrils of Despair. There's a lot of things that I can sacrifice. Like, if I don't want these fledgling Dijins anymore, Tendrils of Despair actually gives me a way to kill them. And then this way... See, I'm not really liking the Dark Ritual as much now, but it can just... Like, first turn Dark Ritual, Tar Pit Warrior actually seems pretty good. But that's the only... Or Python. First turn Python, yeah. I think we'll just keep it in, and we'll submit this. This will be our 40-card deck. Again, this is kind of interesting, the Mirage. I really don't know any strategy with Mirage. Like, I was a kid when this set came out. Never have drafted this set before. And I'm sure there's some hidden little synergies. Or there might be one color that's way more powerful than another color. I did seem to pigeonhole myself quite quickly into red and black. I did see a lot of good white cards and green cards, and I didn't have time to really read a lot of those wall of text blue cards. So let's hope this works out for us. We'll submit it and have some gameplay here shortly. Anyway, this has been Kevin with RogueDeckBuilder.com. Thanks for watching.